Good evening, good afternoon, wherever you find yourself in this weird, wild, wacky world of ours, and welcome to the exciting installment of Darkness in Dublin. This evening's scene takes place in the Green Dragon public house. The Green Dragon is rather interesting, as I've often described it. Literally, in order to get there, it is a large hedgerow that is fronted by a corrugated iron fence with a single signpost that points inwards through an archway in the fence itself. Um, no ordinary people seem to notice the archway or seem to notice the sign that, well, limply in the wind rocks back and forth. However, as you step through the threshold, as you step into the Green Dragon or onto the path to the Green Dragon, regardless what the weather was outside, it suddenly becomes a balmy evening, an evening that is reminiscent of, well, maybe the south of Spain or the Indian tropics on a pleasant, balmy night. When it is, you would sit next to the shore and allow those warm breezes to bowl you over. It never rains. It's never cold. In the sky above you, that seems to be an almost tranquil lilac color, you see stars that are not the stars of the outside world. No, no, no. They appear to almost be lights hung there for the purpose. The bar itself is stretched under a great awning, almost like some kind of great gypsy tent of old, or some kind of Bedouin rise in a fair. It is always welcoming. Everyone is welcome, regardless of who you are. As long as magic is in your blood or science is your purview, you have a seat here. And, as many of you now know, the food and booze are free of charge. Which is, I'm pretty sure, the main reason most of you show up. I'm not even gonna lie, okay? So we'll do our introductions. I will go from left to right, and we will have our new boy introduce himself last. So first up is Monsieur Blanchet.
Right. Monsieur Blanchet goes ahead and enters the establishment with his hands in his hoodie pockets. The transition between the cooler, chilled air and the balmy atmosphere, more preferably like located in the tropics, leads him to go ahead and like quickly disrobe. Um, the undershirt underneath is starting to go ahead and get a little bit balmy as well. He doesn't take that off, but sweat is starting to go ahead and pour down his chin and his chest, leading to, well, he's going to have to change after this in any case. He'll find himself a seat and go ahead and knock on the table for service.
Okay, and next up we have Cassidy.
Cassidy would enter the bar as she usually does, of course, ordering a glass of water and dropping actually a little bit of lemongrass in it this time instead of lavender. Because something different.
Oddly enough, no, Isaac is not a crackhead. We're pretty sure he cracked his head, though.
I was about to make that joke.
Great minds not thinking the way you do. Anyway, next up we will have Mr. Damien Wolf.
Damien walks in from the slightly cooler temperatures, taking a denim jacket off, and clearly stopping for a moment, taking in a deep breath and just inhaling that lovely warmth. Apart from that, he's in his standard denims. And what t-shirt is he sporting today? Well, it's a classic, Rush. He has a quick look around and then calmly starts walking towards the bar with the intent of ordering a drink.
All right. Now we have Minnie, also known as the artist formerly known as, well, Minnie.
So Minnie stumbles up to the bar and is just counting on her fingers. Okay. It's a very specific order. I need a triple patty burger, a glass of water, and then I need a your strongest triple shot of vodka after I finish that.
Okay. And last but certainly not least, we have our new arrival. Welcome to the Green Dragon, sir.
Dr. Miller will enter. He looks a little nervous. He's kind of wringing his hands together, and he's looking around, counting the number of people that he sees. Focuses on one totally at random, just based on visual cues. He's calculating the weight and the pressure they're putting on the bar stool as kind of a way to help calm himself, and he'll walk in and have a seat and act like he's trying not to stare at people, but is obviously staring at people.
You feel a question. Does Dr. Miller have a thing about touch?
No.
Okay. You feel a hand on your shoulder.
And he'll turn and look at it.
You see this man is looking down at you, and he has a very, very warm smile on his face. You don't seem to know if you're going or coming.
Both.
I haven't seen you here before. It's a pleasure to make your acquaintance. And he extends his hand.
He'll look at his hand and he shakes it a little too energetically and for a little too long.
You don't get the feeling that this person minds. He continues to smile. My name is Siren. It's very nice to meet you.
He's lying. His name is Mage Jesus. You hear
Siren is not laughing, but that was just fucking perfect and hilarious.
Damien face palms very silently.
So
Yeah, Cassidy's just shaking her head.
I
Isaac can't be bothered to move much.
I'm confused.
My name is Siren. It is very nice to meet you.
Simon?
Siren.
Siren. Okay. And not Mage Jesus?
That is in relation to a very long and complicated story. And I
So
believe
it's a nickname.
not yet.
Or
Not yet, and I would hope it doesn't become my moniker.
okay. So it's an inside joke. And being on the outside, I don't get it.
He smiles. May I get you a drink? Or something to eat, perhaps?
What's the specialty?
You merely ask, and this place provides.
How?
There's a bartender.
Through a process that I believe you would define as matter materialization.
Oh. How specific can... I guess we'll test your formula. I would like... We'll go with something simple. We'll go with a screwdriver. But I want 1.73 ounces of liquor. And then double that in orange juice.
Siren will simply walk behind the bar, and he will pick up a glass that, if any of you look, simply appears behind the bar, and he will place it down in front of you.
Hmm. He will pick it up and examine it from all sides. He gives it a sniff. Gives it a lick.
The glass or the drink?
The drink. Kind of turns his eyes to notice that everyone else is staring at him. He gives a forced smile and takes a drink. It's
For the
close.
record, I should point out, Siren has his resonance is very warm and very comforting. He makes you feel very at ease just talking to him. You're not sure if it's something he's actively doing, or if it's just a byproduct of him being him. It could be one or the other. But he smiles and he says, "You are a very unique individual, Doctor."
Yes.
When most people are presented with the option of, well, they may eat or drink as they choose. They choose a favorite. They choose. They choose a dish that has memory, or a dish that has reason, or a drink that inflames the soul, or brings back a memory. You take it as a challenge. That is an excellent mindset.
I know a little bit about matter conversion and transformation of matter. So I was curious at how well you'd worked out the variables and the formula, and it's close. It's very close.
This place is not my creation, so I'm not the one that you should give any semblance of credit to. But yes, it does its best facsimile, I should think.
Oh, Matter Mage, me too. It just clicked for her.
Right. On average, I'm having 3 different trains of thought at once, so I get confused.
Quite alright. You're an etherite, aren't you?
Yes.
I see. I'm a member of the Cult of Ecstasy. I'm also the city's High Librarian. If you ever require anything, you have but to ask.
No. I will keep that in mind.
Well, come now. The rest of you, come and be social.
While that's going on, Damien has been trying to be a good boy and not stare at the new fellow, but as soon as Siren let slip that he was the head librarian, the trusty notebook came out and he quickly scribbled something in it.
Cassidy would come over and sit down next to our newest addition, Cassidy Lawson, but you can call me Muse.
Isaac,
There's a
for his part,
correlation
does
there.
not. Sorry, go ahead.
There's a correlation there. I don't get it.
Certain names we're given at birth, certain names we choose.
Ah, okay. Got it.
Siren,
Yes,
I
what's that?
almost forgot to ask. Have I shared the thing with you?
Yes, you have.
Okay.
Sorry,
I'm
you
very
were going to say
depressed.
something.
Minnie
One
looks
second.
at the
You
new
were
guy.
going to say, sorry, you continue.
Minnie looks at the new guy and says, "I'm very depressed right now." And that's all she says to him.
Her name is Minnie, by the way.
And Austin, you were going to say something. My apologies.
No problem. Isaac, for his part, is going to go ahead and extricate himself from the little table he's got, taking the long neck in his hand, and go ahead and sit opposite of Minnie to sort of like keep an eye on her in his periphery. But mostly his eyes are down on his little smartphone. Just like scrolling and scrolling and scrolling some social media feed.
Now you say you're depressed. That has many meanings. Are you just sad due to a traumatic event?
Yes.
So it's not a lack of serotonin.
Also that.
Then I would recommend a doctor. They have medication that help, or if you prefer a more natural route, the dark chocolate can help in the body's ability to produce serotonin. The darker the better. The less sugar, the more effective.
You. I love sugar. Why would you eat chocolate with less sugar?
Because
Cassidy.
you lack serotonin, and this will help your body produce more. Sugar has no impact on serotonin production.
Well, I can eat the chocolate with the sugar, since it has no impact on serotonin production. Also, I'm more interested in talking about matter than my serotonin production.
Serotonin is matter.
It's a biochemical. I'm talking about rocks.
So you wish to discuss geology.
Yes, I love rocks. I love rocks. I mean, look at this one. And she holds up the one that Cassidy's mentor gave her. It's so pretty.
What you see is essentially an incredibly faceted, beautifully hued diamond of some kind, but it's really odd. You've never actually seen its like before.
Oh,
Isaac, for his part, is going to go ahead and take a pair of sunglasses from his pocket, go ahead and hand it to Miller. These are the ones that have been enchanted with Mattersight.
Okay.
you're giving me sunglasses?
To borrow.
Light bulbs in here are producing sufficient lumens. I don't understand.
Put it on, look at the rock, he says, as he goes back to his social media feed.
You'll put on the glasses.
Okay. Essentially, you start to see everything in its component parts, and you understand the makeup of everything. From your perspective, the rock in her hand is composed of such stupidly dense levels of carbon that the only way that it could exist is if it was basically crushed by the forces that would be akin to the center of a star.
Ooh. Interesting.
I was muted. Right?
Where'd you get this?
From my mentor. You may know
Yeah.
him as the Keeper.
The keeper. What's his face?
This rock is not of this world.
No, it's not.
He made it from a star.
Actually, you will correct her. No, not inherently. He didn't make it from a star. It is part of a star.
Okay.
Cool.
This is part of a star.
Cool beans.
From the center of the floor, you guys, for the record, you'll start to see a kind of a rippling static, like a
Turn towards that weird direction.
$10. It's a new friend over new enemy.
Cassidy would look, but she's gotten pretty used to weird shit happening in this bar.
Isaac,
couple-
for his part, is just going to go ahead and pluck the glasses off of Sans face if he hasn't already removed them and placed them on his own. switch over to, what does this thing have? Spirit.
It's not spiritual. It doesn't appear in the
Gotcha.
spirit book. But a few moments later, basically a doorway, roughly around the height of an ordinary door, so about 7 feet tall, forms, and steps through it will be this woman.
Friend or foe?
For Dr. Miller, you may make me an intelligence mage lore check.
Yay. Mm-mm-mm. Standard diff.
Mhm.
3.
3, okay. This is Commodore Elrin Blackgale is her name. She is a member of the renowned Blackgale family, who are a very old grouping in the Society of Ether, going back to when they used to be called the Electrodyne Engineers. She is also she's also a Commodore in the Royal Royal Etheratic Exploratory Fleet.
Oh. What's her name one more time?
Commodore Blackgale. We'll do fine. Or just Blackgale. But she steps through, at which point you see her. She has a very complicated device on her left hand. You see her press a number of buttons, and she closes her fist, and the doorway closes behind her. Ah, my apologies. I do hope that I'm not interrupting.
I got a question. Did you use
Yeah.
correspondence for that matter, or did you just create matter from Prime?
I didn't create matter. I transported myself from one place to another.
Yes, but what did you use for the door?
Oh,
Any something?
the doorway is essentially a formulation of various different etheratic components found in the etherosphere. Essentially, I excited the subcarbons, and that caused the doorway to itself decompartmentally materialize. It was essentially a fractotum, a centrifuge a center point through which the peramerations of the portal could be perforated.
So what you're saying is you use electricity to cause the atoms to come together. That's neat.
You're half right, you're half wrong, but
I'm also
She shrugs.
incredibly drunk and it was neat.
that's acceptable. Ah, you're the one. Dr. Miller. That's you, isn't it?
Yeah. You are Commodore Blackgale.
That's my name. It's a pleasure to meet you, sir. She extends her hand.
You'll look at her hand for a moment and then shake it again, a little too roughly for a little too long.
Basically, on both of her hands, she wears really intricate gloves that move with. You can see, like, whenever they move, they almost spark. So when you shake her hand, you almost get a little bit of a discharge of the electricity. It doesn't hurt. It's like a ooh.
Your gloves are discharging electricity. It's inefficient.
I've always found that efficiency must sometimes give way to practicality.
Randomly electrocuting people who shake your hand is practical. I feel like I'm
Depends on
missing
if I-
something.
It depends on if I like them or not. She turns a little dial on the hand, and you see the electricity die down from the gloves. Also, they were just used, which tends to lead them to be a bit temperamental.
Ah, yes.
But it's a pleasure to make your acquaintance, Doctor.
And yours? Are you here for me?
In a manner of speaking, yes. She kind of looks around. She scans the people. You actually see her. It's quite interesting. You see her eye, the iris of her left eye, physically turn. It's like it's almost like the entire eye swivels in its or the front of the eye swivels, like, so you can tell it's like turned on a clockwork gauge as she looks over all of you. Pretty odd, but hey, You guys have seen some pretty weird shit. Where's it going?
Dr. Miller gets uncomfortably close to that eye as he starts to examine it.
Do you currently have any sights activated to have a look at it?
Not at the moment. Just looking at it aesthetically at first.
Okay. It's clearly some kind of cybernetic prosthesis.
Ah. That is a very interesting eye you have there.
Thank you. I do my best.
He's practically face to face with her. He's staring at the eye.
It doesn't seem to bother her. Like, you wouldn't. Maybe she just doesn't have an issue with the personal space thing. But she says, "So, I was rather hoping to get to your. Well, certain instances have come to light recently, and since yourself and Dr. Energon are the only. Yourself, Dr. Energon, and Dr. Hoth are the three Aetherites in good standing in this city, and considering the find in question, we were rather hoping that you would have a look at something for us and give us your thoughts."
Is it a rock?
It is not a rock.
Oh, she says disappointed.
At the mention of Dr. Energon, Miller kind of smiles. Yes, I know him. He is an old friend. I'm here because of him, and we mesh well. So the two
That's
of us
very
looking at
good to hear.
something. Two of us looking at something together. Is better than us doing it individually.
Oh, that's having a dad. Well, I tell you what. She takes out of her. She has a small bag, and she takes out a what looks to be a. It's a small circle that appears to be. It's a small circle of what appears to be a mechanical device. Like it's as if you took a circle and cut it in half, so it balances rather well on its on its circular half, but it's meant to be kept facing up. And she says, "We believe that this is some kind of compass. It was found in Aetheratic space, but we're not exactly sure what it's meant to do. It's quite badly damaged, as you can see, and frankly, we don't have the components necessary. Well, my ship doesn't have the components necessary, so I thought that perhaps more ground-based individuals might be able to come up with something. We're very interested to see what it might point to. I can't exactly reveal to you the nature of our current mission, but it's needless to say rather important. So, would you mind giving it a look for me?"
No, not at all.
Very good. She smiles and she says, "I tell you what." She looks down at one of the gauges on her wrist, and she says, "I'm already ever so slightly overdue. So if I leave this with you, and yourself and the other two doctors can come together and have some kind of a conflab, and if you learn anything, you'll let me know."
Yes, how would I get a hold of you?
Oh, she removes from her belt what looks to be a very old-timey kind of radio speaker, and she says, "Just press that. It'll transwave the signal to me aboard my ship."
Okay. He takes it.
Well, it's been a pleasure to meet you all. My apologies, but I'm required elsewhere. I hope that you all have fair winds and good tides.
You too.
She basically, once again, taps on the back of her hand. She then pulls. She then moves a small contraption on her belt, connects the two. At which point, there's a beam of light that appears from the palm of the hand, and it creates another doorway that she steps through, and it will close behind her.
Miller will turn to the others and says, my apologies. The Aetheritic Expeditionary Force can be rather flighty. And, well, I mean, he holds up old-timey speaker and a little outdated.
Don't let her hear you say that. That's rude.
I didn't. I waited
From
for
the
her to leave.
speaker. From the speaker. Oh, I already heard it.
He looks at the speaker awkwardly.
You sense that there is an off button. You can push the off button so she can't hear you anymore.
That was very rude to leave this on. He turns it off.
Probably left it on for just that reason.
Now, whether she heard it or not doesn't make it false. He puts both of the items in his pockets.
I want to see.
E-thread business.
Are you so rude? I'll let you see my star.
And I appreciate that.
And he just lays across the bar.
You should probably see a doctor.
You can eat a dick.
Meanwhile,
True.
Isaac is sweating
weird.
much like a pig from his armpits. There is a long torrent down his side that is starting to drip off onto the seat. He looks up at the coming confrontation, simply says, "Hey! Just not be like me name calling. Let's all be sort of adults here."
By the way, Isaac, you feel a hand on your shoulder, at which point your temperature completely normalizes.
Oh dear, that's not normal.
You seemed uncomfortable. I'm sorry.
He's just gonna go ahead and like turn his head around. Oh, how you doing, dearie?
For the record, you see this woman, basically, to describe the bar properly, there's the large veranda that you won't kind of sit under. It's very pleasant. But there's also a vast garden that extends outwards from it, down a set of stairs. This person has come up from the garden. She looks to be about maybe 19. She's smiling at the moment as she says, "Oh, I'm fine, thank you. Hello, everyone. Sorry. Minnie, are you okay?"
Yes.
I mean, okay.
Isaac shakes his head.
Cassidy is also shaking her head. No.
Don't make her worry, guys.
Damien gives her a wave. Barty's still at a chair, actually quite, a good few paces away from the rest of the group.
Okay. Without saying another word, Hope just walks up and hugs Minnie.
Yay. She hugs her back.
I don't know what's wrong, but hugs help.
They do.
Oh, so sorry. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Hope. It's nice to meet you.
Hi, Hope.
That's funny.
What is? I hope I didn't offend you. I'm really sorry.
No, the person who lacks serotonin production and is experiencing heights of aggression just got hugged by someone offering comfort named Hope, and that amused apparently only me.
If it helps, I would have offered succor or some kind of comfort, even if my name wasn't Hope. But okay. She just looks direly uncomfortable. wounded cinnamon bun. It makes the sound of wounded cinnamon buns.
Why are you so rude, dude? Just hurt her feelings.
That was quite rude.
All right, I'll take note.
No,
And he
it's
reaches
fine.
towards his. He's got a smartwatch on, and he hits a couple of buttons, and like a holographic display pops up above it, and he begins typing.
Hello, Dr. Miller. How may I help you today?
Another note. To review things I find humorous in social situations.
A note has been made.
Thank you. He closes it down.
Hope, for the record, walks across. She contemplates for a few moments before she takes Dr. Miller's hand and she puts her other hand on top of it and she says, "You didn't offend me. You just took me aback a little. It's very nice to meet you. I always get worried that I don't do things right, and it's really difficult to put difficult to put one foot in front of the other sometimes. You know what I mean?"
Completely.
Okay. She smiles.
So where do you fall on the scale?
I beg your pardon?
The autism scale.
Blank.
You have absolutely no tact.
Damien pipes up. Herr Doctor, I think your bedside manner needs some working on.
Hope kind of looks at Isaac like, "Am I defective?" Like, she doesn't know how to compute.
You get like a shrug and then like a wave off, and the communication is nah, you're okay.
I'm just gonna, yeah. And you see her just walk down into the garden again. Just like,
Isaac's gonna go ahead and hand Hope his smartphone. Just simply just go scrolling. Just stay here, go scrolling.
she goes and she will go and play Candy Crush.
Yeah.
Also, you introduced her to the awesomeness that was classic Snake.
Hilarious.
I'm going to be back in a few moments. I sense that some people may have some words, so I'll be back in a bit.
Good.
I'm assuming everybody turns to. What is his face? Dr. Sam.
Who looks confused.
Could you have been any more rude?
Possibly.
You don't even know her. How mm.
I recognize some symptoms that I too possess, so I wish to know if she followed me on the autism scale.
That is also a very personal question that you don't ask immediately when first meeting somebody.
He looks to be contemplating.
Yes, unless the information is given, it's rather rude to ask.
Are you
She's
suggesting
only-
she might be ashamed of it?
She's only 3 years old. How would she even know that? 3? 4 years old? 3? 4? She looks at Isaac. 3 or 4?
He goes ahead and waves her off. Yeah.
3 or 4.
mean, have you looked at her under Prime Site?
No.
So
Should I have?
I don't know if she's technically a Nephilim or a demigod.
I don't tend to use intrusive scans like that. Some people find it rude.
Same. Always ask first.
Since this has been the only interaction between me and Hope, and you've witnessed 100% of it, and you asked me if I've seen her under Prime Site, and I instead didn't ask her, you knew I didn't, so it's rhetorical. Okay, get it.
I'm not drunk enough for this.
Now, Minnie dear, let's not drink too much.
It's okay, I'm spacing them out with food and water.
Good. No more alcohol poisoning.
So Isaac's gonna go ahead and fold his hands, look at a newcomer. So, what brings you to the city?
I am here to visit with Dr. Energon.
All right. Have you been here long, or
I don't think I've
have you
met that
been
one
long
yet.
enough to whatchamacallit, form an opinion about the city?
No, not long.
Fair enough. What's your connection to Energon? I apologize for not listening in on the whole exchange between yourself and your peer, but it seems like you're on relatively cordial terms.
Dr. Energon is a friend. And he helps with this.
He goes ahead, nods, trying to understand what this is. I've honestly only met the man in this establishment the once, but he seemed to be, a friendly sort, at least. Conversationalist, at least.
Minnie's response to Dr. Energon being called friendly was meh.
I don't think I've met that one yet.
He helps navigate social interaction.
Quite. I've also seen his chair. Very, very good piece of craftsmanship, that chair. Did you help with that?
We collaborate. I had some suggestions.
Okay. I noticed that your he goes ahead and points to the watch that recently just projected that holographic note taker. I noticed that you go ahead and use automated computer systems. Did you also help with Dr. Energon's automated computer system, or was that his own twist?
We discussed it. Some length. I provided some help and guidance. I don't know if he took it. I haven't yet to have time to analyze it. Just like with the device on my wrist, He also helped. There was a bug in the program that I had a hard time finding, but he was able to find it. So he helped in its creation as well. And as you notice him talking about, the contraptions and things, the little sense of him being uncomfortable, the nervous way he spoke, kind of fades out, and he begins talking normally, like a normal person would.
Mission accomplished. Well, I certainly hope you go ahead and see your friend soon. He should be alive and active in the city. Although, this city's goes ahead and waves his hand. Some people refer to it as a frontline city, and some people refer to it as a backline city. He goes ahead and shrugs. It's all about your perspective.
I would hope that he is alive and he invited me.
Oh, I'm sure he is. I'm sure he is. Isaac goes ahead and takes a swig of his long neck and goes back to his smartphone. Actually, his smartphone is in Hope's hands at the moment.
Minnie.
Yeah, we can't go back to his phone.
Yeah, Minnie hands Isaac her smartphone.
And now he's going to go ahead and go scrolling through Reddit.
At that, first of all, nice to have you back. Secondly, at that point, Damien calmly packs his stuff together and slowly approaches the group. Mind if I join?
No.
Thank you. And he grabs a seat and sits down.
Dr. Miller, and he extends his hand.
Damien, it's a pleasure, Dr. Miller.
Hey, dude, quick question. Do you still have that heart?
Yes, it is still creepily beating in a non-disclosed location.
So you don't have it with you?
No, I thought that would be unwise.
Okay, so quick hint. If it has like a green stone attached to it, don't separate them.
I have so far only been able to figure out that it produces prime energy, seems to be able to filter it, and probably could even direct it, but the technology, Glass, the technology is way above anything I ever saw.
Hi. I've seen a lot of tech.
Have you ever seen an animatronic heart that beats on its own accord and looks as if it was something out of Blade Runner?
And could cause a black hole throughout 3 different realms of reality. If mistreated. I think.
As far as I know, I haven't been mistreating it. I think at this point it probably feels neglected.
I can think of several ways in which a car can be created that does such a thing.
It's okay. I've already circumvented one nuclear explosion. I'm okay without another.
Yeah, at this point I don't feel confident to try and siphon off primal energy from it.
Yeah, knows how. Ask him.
Yeah. Damien looks at Blanche and stretches a hand out. Damien, I don't think we have met yet.
Isaac's going to go ahead or Mr. Blanche. Oh, Mr. Blanche. He's going to go ahead and stretch out a hand. Go ahead and clasp yours. It is not as damp as it was before, but his teacher is still plainly sweated through. It is yet to evaporate.
Out of character, how grimy does he look? I mean, does he look like one step above a hobo? Or
Okay. You know those cashiers who were required to look presentable for 5 fucking seconds and before you leave? He's that presentable at the moment.
Ah, okay. Yep, Damien gives a good shake and then, leans back. Minnie, if I remember correctly.
Yes.
I couldn't help but overhear that you seem to be going through some rough time, and you also said you are a geologist.
Yes.
Well, in that case, I might have something for you that you might enjoy. He goes rummaging through his bag for like a whole minute, starting to get frustrated, and then, here we go. And he hands you a fossilized Deinonychus claw. Here, you can have it. It's from Utah.
Oh, that's really close to home. And she takes it and is holding it close. I'm gonna look at it with matter.
You can see it's a very nicely fossilized Deinonychus claw. As you focus in a bit more, you see that it's slightly opalized, a very nice side effect of the fossilizing, even if on the first glance one doesn't quite see it. Are you using any other sites on it? Forces, Prime, or anything else?
Not really. It's more of a matter person.
Okay, then it seems to be, apart from that, perfectly ordinary. Yeah, it's my old entropy foci. I have no use for it anymore. Hope you like it.
Huh. But yeah, she's just turning it in her hands and looking at it. Opal is very difficult to have been created. It's gotta be like very specific circumstances. I think there's actually less opal in the world than there is diamond. But then they did just discover that entire mountain of diamond beneath the Earth's surface not too long ago, so.
Glad to see you're a little bit more chipper than before. And he tries to give a warm smile, but is a bit failing at it.
Yeah. Fun fact. If any of you see Ananasi, give her a heads up.
Ananas. Sorry, the name doesn't ring a bell.
She goes by Anna.
Okay.
Somebody's trying to steal her books.
Okay. Do we know who?
Same person that took Darcy's book.
Oh no, not that fucking devil. Oh, not Asmodeus.
I need context.
Oh, okay. As you wish.
Ananasi is the god of stories. And so she keeps stories. And she keeps stories about heroes, specifically those with avatars. And Asmodeus is trying to steal those books of the stories she keeps. So he can change them. And control them.
Yeah, I saw it with my own 2 eyes. That laughter. Still ringing inside my head.
Is it because the laughter was very loud and you suffered some damage, or is it psychosomatic?
It was,
I would guess that it's more psychosomatic than anything else.
I mean, he is a literal devil of the Nine Hells. If I believe from Dante's, he's one of the king of the Nine Hells.
Yeah, and he also goes by the moniker Devourer of Men's Souls, so not a pleasant aggregor to be around, that's for sure. But at least in the archetype, he definitely sticks to the lawful evil character.
That sounds very dramatic.
I haven't got much of a point of reference, except that Hermetic probably you're referring to the Order of Hermes. Do I assume correctly?
What? No, Darcy was ecstatic.
Yes, she was much like Siren. Cult of Ecstasy.
I didn't mean to. It came out the wrong way. Sorry.
But hey, this is the first time that Minnie said Darcy's name without busting into tears, so there's that. Well, this is awkward.
Yeah. Mm.
I'm used to it.
I think because I didn't change this up, you would be used to it. Looking over to our dear old Verbena, I was going to go ahead and point Miss Lawson, correct?
That's my last name, yes.
Because the head nods. I have some questions for you. Would you like to go ahead and follow me to a little bit more of a private corner?
Sure. Is Siren
Nice.
still here, by the way?
Yes.
Damn it. Yeah, she'll follow him, even though she does need to ask Siren some questions.
Isaac goes ahead and excuses himself from the main table, walks his way over to one particular corner that has one booth. He'll go ahead and slide in. By this point, he's only had the one drink, but that one drink is about only a quarter fill. He showed no signs of finishing it right away. He seems just very interested in asking you some questions, less interested in drinking.
Cassidy would bring her water with her.
With his hand on his forehead and that arm's elbow on the table, I'm just going to go ahead and peer up with one eye and simply say, okay, so I've gotten versions of the story from a few different places, but is there anything you want to tell me a story about what happened with the Keeper, with Darcy, with Minnie, with
You
Kit?
mean with my mentor?
Yes, please.
Well, I did what I thought was best and called upon my mentor. He took us to his realm, where Kit and his name escapes me, but the Hermetic proceeded to anger him to the point that he thrust everyone but myself back to Earth.
I see. I see. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but you hold a little bit of resentment towards Kit and the Hermetic, whose name is, I believe, Theodos?
Do you understand just how powerful the Keeper is and the insult that they laid at his feet? After I vouched for them?
Please go into detail.
The Keeper is possibly the most powerful Ravenna to ever exist. And they just openly flouted the cycle right in front of him.
How did they ultimately flaunt the cycle? And what is the cycle? I mean, is the cycle like birth, growth, life,
The
and
cycle of
death?
life and death.
Okay, had they Isaac trips over his words. How did they go ahead and flaunt that?
Oh, I don't know. Saying that they could simply bring Darcy back if she died, or putting her soul in another body.
I see. And why were they discussing that before your master?
Because we were discussing options as to how we would save Darcy. That failed horribly, unfortunately.
I see. In your own words, how did that fail? Why did it fail?
Because our best option was taken away. We
You
could
can
have.
correct. Sorry, go ahead.
There were a few things we could have done with the Keeper's help. But I don't
I will
think I've
also
ever
point one thing out.
seen him that angry.
I'll also point one thing out for Cassidy. The main issue was not just that they kept doing it. The issue was he repeatedly told them to stop, and they didn't.
Yes. He also repeatedly asked them to stop discussing, well, bringing up the topic of breaking the cycle.
Okay, I think I understand your perspective on that. And I think I know at least a few of the different options that your master went ahead and presented. What would have been the best option that was taken off the table?
There was the potential to preserve Darcy's mind within her body had it been possessed.
He goes ahead and nods. I see. And what was Darcy leaning towards?
Well,
She personally wishing and wanting.
Darcy wanted to sacrifice herself for the greater good. Which is what eventually did happen.
He goes ahead and nods. I see. After the rest of them were shunted away from your master's realm, what did you do after that then?
I hugged him, apologized, and came back myself.
He goes ahead and nods. By the time did you come back, was the deed already done?
It was about to happen.
And what did you want in that moment as soon as you came back?
I wish there was something I could have done.
His eyes go ahead and like wanders over to the table where Mimi goes ahead and sits. Goes ahead and turns his eye back. Would you have done it? Would you have taken that rusted piece of metal?
I don't think I could have been as strong as Minnie was. Keep in mind she has the soft-hearted flaw.
He goes ahead and closes his eyes. Takes that last bit of alcohol into his system. Helps it back up. Well, what is done is done.
Indeed.
Do you have any regrets?
Not for myself. I did everything I could.
He'll go ahead and nod. Thank you for answering my questions, and you can wander over back to the group if you would like. I'm going to sit here for a second.
Cassidy would go ahead and get up and head back over to the bar.
Hello, beautiful.
Hello, my dear.
Cassidy, just one quick question, and then I'll be out of your hair.
Yes.
Would it be possible that maybe on some other day you might be able to introduce me to some of your Verbena friends?
Well, I've just arrived in the city, but I could certainly see if I could dig up some contacts.
Cool. Yeah, of course. And he gives you one of his calling cards. Here are my contact details. I'd be really interested to see how you guys, how you go about with magic.
Of course. She would take the card and go put it in her bag.
Thank you.
And then she would come back over and hug Minnie.
Yay, another hug.
Because Cassidy likes hugs. We have established this.
Meaning
She also likes riding on giant. She also likes riding on giant elk.
Yes. And petting them and snuggling with them.
I've decided that elk's name is Barnabas.
Oh my god. You would.
Did you have a fun talk?
He just wanted the story of what happened.
Oh.
And, well, why I'm still perturbed with the Hermetic and Kit.
Yes, I'm gonna kick him in the balls.
As far as, yeah.
I think that would suffice. That's quite mean, but I suppose.
On
By
the
the way-
part of Kit, I'd be more than happy to join in.
By the way, at this moment, Cassidy's body goes rigid. What color are Cassidy's eyes?
They are like a golden color.
Okay. She blinks twice, at which point her eyes become an almost ethereally emerald green.
Guys? Guys?
Yeah, Damien pulls out a bronze sickle from his pouch and takes a few steps away from Cassidy and says, "Everyone, take some distance, just in case."
If I had any wish, for the record, the voice that comes out of Cassidy's throat is not necessarily, it doesn't sound like her. It sounds very distant and far away. But it says, if I had any wish to hurt you, I assure you I would. My presence here is merely an invitation to you, Damien Wolf.
Okay.
You wish
Continue.
to learn a concept of truth. I wish to show you this concept of truth. My apprentice here will lead you, and you will come and meet with me at your convenience.
Okay. An SMS would have done the trick as well, but count me impressed. Sure. Yes. Why not?
This is a mere parlor trick. I have no interest in impressing you. I am merely here to explain a truth. At which point, Cassidy, your body is yours again. For the record, that's not the first time he's done that.
And he's crying while
Oh.
hugging Cassidy.
Oh, I wish he'd stop doing that.
Oh, you had me worried there for a moment.
Don't worry, darling. That was just the keeper. He does that.
Oh, your story keeper.
No, the keeper.
Okay, I'm missing context.
Oh dear.
He was just really panicking. I didn't
She
know
is
what
not
to
allowed
do.
to say that he is also known as Merlin, is she?
You can if you like, just not in his own. You can if you like, just not in his Horizon realm.
Okay. You may know him as Merlin.
Wait, what?
The Welsh magician
Yes.
from the Arthurian cycle.
Yes.
The most powerful mage to ever exist, period.
Yes.
Damien takes a seat, obviously shaken by that revelation. Okay. He looks at his sickle. To be more precise, it is a Bronze Age style sickle, and he puts it back in the bag. Okay. Yeah. Be careful what you wish for. Cool.
Yes, he does that from time to time.
Okay.
I do wish he'd stop doing that, though.
Yeah, sorry with all the experiences I've been going through. I'm probably a bit more jumpy than I should be, but I still feel justified to a certain extent.
And she would just pat Minnie's back. It's okay, dear.
I was just, worried about Darcy. I didn't even put two and two together.
Yes, I wouldn't have been able to tell you there anyway.
I met Merlin. He gave me a shiny rock. Her mind is just blown right now.
However, there's a kind of a weird thing that you contemplate. For those of you who have this revelation given to you, he is the one thing he made abundantly clear to Minnie and to everyone else is he would not help the world. I mean, he spoke about Mephistopheles and about Asmodeus as if they weren't a threat to him, but yet he wouldn't actively just get rid of them. He could have. Minnie is hit with a very horrible realization. If he is really that powerful, he could have saved Darcy with a wave of his hand, and he chose not to. It wouldn't have even cost him effort.
Oh boy. And then and he's just kind of starstruck. Then she's upset. She just kind of goes behind the bar and grabs a bottle.
Oh, no, please, no. I don't want you to get alcohol poisoning again.
You wouldn't even have to try.
Isaac, for his part, is now returning to the table. He's looking at Minnie, looking at how high a concentration is that alcohol.
Yes.
Is it like
Well,
an 8
that bottle
proof?
is going to go ahead and be retrieved from your hand. Yoink.
Oh, whatever am I going to do sitting behind this bar? And she just reaches over and grabs a different bottle.
How high is that one?
I don't know.
Question. Evan.
Yeah.
If water can be turned into wine, can wine be turned into water?
Yes, it can.
I would like to try to perform this reverse miracle.
Do you have matter?
I have matter 3.
That is enough.
All right. So, what Isaac will go ahead and do is he'll go ahead and like put the wine glass that he's got in his hand down. He'll go ahead and look at Minnie, go ahead and look at the label, and he's just gonna go ahead and try to take the glue label, like one little tab of the label, and then rip it off. And that will be my main focus for turning this high quality alcohol into something that's like dirt fucking cheap.
Not Minnie. Minnie knows mages are a thing, so she is not going to let you touch this. Stop it. Slaps your hand.
Would you like a roll off?
Yes.
Or would okay.
She would definitely. What is it, Dex?
Dex roll, Dex melee. For you, you could go with Dex athletics. It's fine with me.
Alrighty.
Oh dear. During this time, Cassidy's just going to walk away and walk over to Siren.
Siren is currently keeping Dr. Miller company. Because he's nice like that.
Cool.
I do not have any dots in brawl, so it's just my straight Dex. This should be easy for you. One success.
To be fair, I think that Dex is better than Cassidy's. Yep, better than Cassidy's.
Oh. I did the thing backwards. There we go. You're not getting it.
Nah. He grabs to the bottle. You definitely elude his catch. Isaac just goes ahead and looks to you. You don't need that, I want to say.
Listen, for less effort than it took him to blink, he could have saved Darcy.
I'm sorry, but God can be 3 things, but he cannot be all 3 things at once.
He's not God.
To you and me, he might as well be.
Why can't I be angry? Why can't I be angry? I had to stab her through the jugular. I wasn't even strong enough to make it painless. And
No shit. Be angry. Be fucking angry. But just chunk the bottle at me. Don't drink it, please.
Damien stands up and ambles over to the two squabbling.
Is Minnie raising her voice, by the way?
Only a little, but she's not actually shouting.
Okay, good.
Hey, Minnie.
Comes another white boy telling me what to do.
Trust me, it's not a race thing, and even if I would have 2 X chromosomes, I'd still be walking over. You know what? It seems as if you could do with blowing off some steam. Fancy a round of sparring? I know Duncan has a good place. Let's put that energy to some good use.
She looks you in the eye. I am a pacifist. I don't know how to throw a punch, I don't know how to shoot a gun, and I don't know how to swing a sword. I am a pacifist. I don't even believe in squishing spiders. Thank you very much.
Even the kindest will can't prevent you from the kill. Oh well, if you ever want to get your mind off this whole thing, and you wish to do it on a non-alcoholic way, let me know. I'll be more than happy to treat you.
It's been less than a week. I'm allowed to be sad and angry.
That's your. I don't know why I even came over here. And turns around and just waves. You know, like, yeah, do whatever you want, lass.
At this point, I just go ahead and throw up his hands. If that's what you need, fine. Who am I to go ahead and tell people how to manage themselves?
Damien
Samus.
mutters something in German, and he seems to be muttering it towards his right shoulder.
Wait, I actually might have German. No, I got Greek, Latin, Enochian, Arabic, and French.
Okay, it sounds like gobbledygook to you.
That's fair.
Nope, I've got Old Norse and Celtic.
No, it's
No,
a Germanic language, not even close.
Yeah, no.
All right,
It
kids.
sounds like fucking nonsense.
Yeah.
I was going to say, at this point, I have been running scenes for 6 hours, so I would like to stop now.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
okay
legit.
with that.
So, good old Dr. Miller has had his introduction. He has also been given an interesting puzzle, a conundrum, if you will. So, with that, we shall end our scene. Thank you, players, for playing. Thank you, watchers, for watching. This has been another scene in Darkness in Dublin. Have a pleasant evening.